Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We here at Lights Under Action are very happy that you've joined us today. We will be on right after two songs from everyone's favorite artist, Tommy Torettic.
But if I had an opportunity to let these little young Sahibs know something, take care of y'all bodies, you know what I mean? Don't take care of y'all chicken. You feel me? Don't take care of y'all mentals, because little ain't lasting that long.
OKC, I'm a tad bit eclectic. Thoughts tangential and Torettic. Sprinkle ADHD and my dreams become prophetic. Deaths and overdoses, suicides and wedding dresses. A curse that devolves and messes over a gift that truly blesses. Visions of a future of successes. Yet me, none of these ladies are impressed with. Girls be thinking I'm obsessive or I'm thirsty.
How do I tell them I feel unworthy?
They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. I can write, direct, and act, can even rhyme and rap. Humble and don't see it as a big deal, why is that? I was used, abused, beaten, battered, made to sat and play by myself, yeah, it's whack. See, I grew up lonely and sad, got angry like my dad, spit venom like my mom, and grew to hate myself along the way, and never learned the social skills to play in the world, but shit was just a fad. I finally gone full man. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. Imposter syndrome makes me mope.
Tell them.
My emotions are a kaleidoscope. When a words does that make me feel worthy yet? Nope, therapy has taught me how to cope.
Damn.
I've learned it can't be done by smoking dope.
Or
Getting blackout drunk like a trope.
Or
Meeting women to unrobe and probe.
Or
Getting busy cause it makes my heart want to explode.
Damn.
I've learned you just gotta meditate when
Damn.
you feeling angry and you straight hating.
Damn.
Life and your friends think you're flaking.
Damn.
If only they could know why I'm debating.
Damn.
If only women knew what I was waiting.
Tell them.
Easy for the other guys, for me frustrates, and my brain's in another dimension, translating the pain in my heart as I write this praying. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride while my life is like a lie. If you got problems in your life, or you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, please do. It's important to take care of our mental health, because otherwise, we're crazy like the rest of the world. I hope you find peace and love. Tommy Torettic. See, I don't like doing this, but I'm gonna teach you a little bit about the world. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to the shop of Anonymous. I swear I don't want anything to do with this, I promise this. You hear me screaming from the top, I'm dropping knowledge. A barrel's too far gone for a rookie, so I'm calling this. Game over for you, trumps the grind is all I know and do. Breathing fire like a dragon's or green power coming through. Yeah, I'm working 3 jobs so that I can frack that crew. The money you dummy in front of no honey, can take that love from me. Going to the future and never coming back. Marty McFly, now more like his dad. Trying to be calm, all this news is just whack. Propaganda flying, so know everybody mad. Empathy is gone, so we all for attack. If you disagree, you're just stupid and sad. Use intolerance or must be smoking crack. Ignorance is bliss, y'all just a dyad. 2 sides of the same coin, killer. Why we ever stop living up for pillars? Acting like everything in life must be a thriller. We're living in a world written by Frank Miller. Cause the dark nights return, so now we turn. See our heroes messed up and now we spurn them because it pisses us off and now we burn their careers alive to the ground. Cause we yearn to be in that position so that we earn millions and millions and millions. But then we we turn it to the very thing we hate. Now we revert and we refer to the lines that we rehearse. Spread love and forgiveness only to sink deeper. What did we learn? Distract myself from the world. Water, earth, fire, air, swirl. Bend it to your will, then hurl. Flying buffalo, why don't you give it a whirl? Grab a saber, then just twirl. Force cut a pear, give her a pearl. Power unleashes a churl. Join the dark side with me. Guess it's time I get back to work. Captain of my own enterprise, call me Kirk. Anger and depression always seem to lurk. Round every corner, so I write this just a perk. Everybody moved up, cause we screwed up. Living in a country where we shoot up. Anybody disagree, just to move up the food chain where you grew up. Otherwise they beat you down cause you used up. Time to boot up, new mindset program. Think you knew us, but you shoe us. You only care about us to subdue us, just to screw us. Living in a country full of Judas. Stab you in the back, USA or Brutus. Call them Lucius, bringing out the dark night. Now we tuned up, time to scoop up any positivity. While the masses all left clueless, they can only catch your speed. Mr. New One's opportunist, leave them naked in the ground, talking ruthless. I am ruthless, visions full of kid grown ghoulish, broken ruthless, spitting proverbs like Confucius, call me Tommy, Tourettic, or Nostradamus.
Who this? Who this? Who this? Who this? Who this?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 43 of Light Thunder Action, where every week we discuss all things DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I am Thomas Carter Rochester, a.k.a. the son of Dale.
My name's David Thompson. Thomas, where are you?
I have no idea. I tried fixing it, and I don't know. It's been a day.
I still don't know where you are.
I don't either.
Okay, my name's David Thompson. Welcome to the show. Today, we've got a big show for you guys. We're going to mix it up today. We're switching things up. Episode 4 of WANDAVISION was such a great episode and had so many big reveals. Thomas, you're still not there.
Yeah, I know, man.
Oh, okay. You'll just be like that for the whole show. That's fine.
It's fine. No one has to stare at my ugly ass face. So okay.
So we're going to start with WandaVision as the main topic in the first half of the show. Normally, we save it for the second half. This week, we decided because of the grand scale, I think, of this episode, we're going to start with it. We're going to lead the way with it after our housekeeping. What's that?
Yeah, I got to be honest, man. All I could think about when this episode happened was just... yeah.
And then, of course, later we'll get into the news. The news we will get to in the second half of today's episode. And we've got some good stuff coming for you guys. War Machine confirmed to be, from Don Cheadle, he said it himself, to be in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show. The Snyder Cut has gotten an R rating, which is very interesting. Obviously, the original version was PG-13, but the Snyder Cut will be R-rated. And finally, we got our first look at Thor Love and Thunder and some set photos, among some other news we're going to get to as well. But Thomas, I can't see you, but how are you doing?
Oh, you know, I'm just tired, stressed. Nothing's fun anymore. I'm turning 30 soon. None of these. No, I'm just kidding, man. I have no idea. It has been a long day. I'm alive. Technology. It was literally working right before the show.
Yeah.
I come back and it's just not working. I don't know, man. It's a rental. I'm good, bro. I'm very hype. Like, I don't even want to do the bull crap that we normally do at the beginning of the show. I just want to talk WandaVision. And I want to play all of my sounds from the soundboard because I spent a lot of time getting these ready, you know, because
The devil's in the details, Bev.
I got it.
That's
It's
not
true.
The only place he is.
It's true. These are all facts. He's here right now. I feel the devil in this live stream with us, covering up, throwing a shroud of darkness over me. That son of a bitch
So the
got me
camera's
again.
The camera's just not working? I don't understand. We see the background.
Yeah, I don't even know, man. I have changed the camera 3 times while sitting here. I left and came back, and it's just not working. I don't know if it's something to do with my laptop and my video card or what have you, but
Well,
yeah, it's just
if you ever join us, that'll be a pleasant surprise. But for now, it is what it is. I think it's fun. For audio listeners, there's no difference. So, hey. Oh, now Thomas has left us. So, guys, Thomas didn't ask me. Oh, Thomas is coming back.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. I hit a wrong button. David, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. We're recording on a Wednesday today, which isn't, I don't know if we've ever done a Wednesday show. I feel like that's kind of like a abnormal day for us, but we didn't do Tuesday, didn't do Monday, but I'm happy it's Wednesday. I'll tell you why, because now WandaVision's just 2 days away. We've had plenty of time to soak in episode 4, along with probably everyone else watching and a lot of fans at home. But yeah, I'm doing well. It leads me, I'm just going to kind of leapfrog into what I've been watching and doing. I've been
awkward.
I've been doing what I've been watching lately is I just played and beat Miles Morales on PS5. I had it for PS4, but if you got digitally, it automatically went over to the PS5. And I just got my PS5 now, like a couple weeks ago now. Finally beat Miles Morales on the PS5, and wow, it is a really good game. I obviously played the first Spider-Man game, the PS4 Spider-Man game by Insomniac. That's the studio, and loved it. This game is a lot shorter. It's probably like half the length, I would say. A good bit, I'd say significantly kind of less to do. But a really, really good game in its own right. And I would argue that it could be better than the original. I was telling some friends, the actions, like the fighting and all that is a bit different and kind of better. Like Miles' abilities and all these things that are different from Peter Parker. It kind of enhances the game a bit. Hey, you're back.
Magical.
Welcome, Thomas, and everyone. All right.
Hi, everyone. Buy this shirt of David's beautiful face. Wait, there's 2 of you now.
Yeah.
I should do the whole thing, just wearing your face, like Leatherface, Buffalo Bill, the Joker, etc.
Anyway,
continue.
I was saying, Miles Morales on on PS5 is a great experience. I played it on PS4 for a bit, restarted it when I got to PS5. I did not finish it because I knew the experience on PS5 would be better. I have a new monitor that's really great. I have the PS5, and it just looks fantastic. It played so smoothly and so beautifully. And then just the story was really good. I'm telling you, by the end of it, I was like half getting choked up at some parts. It's a really, really well told story. The game's only 9 hours long for the main story mode and all that. So it's a pretty short game, but I really enjoy it. And I will say, so they do Insomniac in this new Spider-Verse of their own they're building in the video games. It's really cool. First, I'm amped that it's a thing because they're going to make more and all of this. But they're doing some really unique stuff with Miles and Peter. So normally in the comics and in Spider-Verse, Peter, I think I remember in the comics where they don't live in the same universe. Where Peter comes from, Earth 616 and Miles is somewhere else. In this version, Peter and Miles are in the same world, same universe. Miles is introduced in the first game. There's no multiverse stuff. Miles is just, in Brooklyn, and then he moves to Harlem in this game. And Spider-Man's already there. He's been there for 8 years at the beginning of the original Spider-Man game. So he's well established. That's the whole point. And I said this to Thomas. I don't know if it's a hot take. The relationship between Peter and Miles building in the game universe, in my opinion, I think is better than what they had in Spider-Verse.
I see webs coming out, man.
I will say, though, it's totally different. And that was just a movie, and it had a lot more characters. But just that specific, I loved the way they're from the same universe, and that this Spider-Man is taking Miles under his wing And something that's really cool about playing Miles Morales after playing Spider-Man, and then actually I bought the it's like City Never Sleeps DLC for the original Spider-Man game that I had never played, and now it was super discounted, so I bought it and I started playing it again. And the game's a bit different, and it's cool playing Miles Morales and then back to the original, because you see how they did such a great job of making Miles he's a bit more not lackadaisical, but a bit more clumsy, and he's not as you can feel he's not as strong, and he's a bit skinnier, and you feel that somehow in the way they made the combat and even just swinging. So kudos to them. I can't wait for the next game, the Spider-Man game, maybe whenever that comes out. But 10 out of 10 recommend both those games, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan like me, or even just a video game Marvel fan. They are really, really fun. Swinging around. If the game was just swinging, it would still possibly be worth the cost of the game, because that is just, it feels just freeing and so much fun, and they nail it. Like, there was other video game Spider-Man games based off movies in the past that, their swinging was all right. The swing in these games is fantastic. It feels like you're Spider-Man, and Miles Morales was awesome. Also, another thing there you go. Another thing I've been watching is on Netflix called Mindhunter. It's a popular show. It's about these FBI agents. It's pretty dark, but we haven't finished it, but it's kind of about how they're almost like discovering and defining what like a serial killer is, and realizing that like who these people are. Because because it's funny, we're like, why aren't they just calling them serial killers? And we're realizing, wait, at that point in time, they didn't call them that. They didn't know if they didn't make up this whole category for, these criminals. And it's really interesting. It's a good show. Me and Jasmine are definitely enjoying it so far. But enough of me, enough of Spider-Man. I could run on forever. Thomas, what have you been watching?
I have been watching, I know everyone's going to be super surprised when I say this, but NFL Live. No, man, I've literally been watching NFL Live pretty much every night. It's like the one thing I sit down and watch. I obviously have watched WandaVision. I was supposed to watch all 4 episodes before today's show, but I left work late, so I didn't have enough time to get through the last 2 episodes. I started Ready Player One, the movie, just so I could finish the audiobook, but then I realized that I'm not going to enjoy the audiobook enough because it doesn't have music. So I deleted Ready Player One from my audiobook. So it doesn't have music, and like it's just harder to stay in the story without that. Is what I don't know why my brain needs it, but Star Wars audiobooks games have spoiled me, bro.
Spoiled you, yes.
I'm spoiled. But because we're at the end of February, man. CW shows are coming back on, and I'm behind on all of them except for maybe Supergirl. I think I finished Supergirl. I think it was the only one I finished. So I started Legends of Tomorrow, and dag nabbit if it isn't the most fun show. It is my favorite show on TV right now, because it's just every episode's wild. It's comic booky. It's hilarious. It is just a hodgepodge, a mishmash of unfortunate. So it's basically like Guardians of the Galaxy is the best way to describe this show. They just travel through time, and they get along a lot better than the Guardians ever do that we've seen so far. Out of like, what is that? 3 movies essentially, 3.5 movies, 2.5 movies. Guardians 1, 2, Infinity War, like 2.5 movies. So. It's great, man. It is very, very good show. Love it so much. David, where can everyone find the audio version of our podcast?
Yeah, so earlier when we couldn't see Thomas, we could still hear Thomas, and you can hear both of us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and our hosting site Spreaker for the full audio catalog of this show. We have every episode up, all of our interviews, all of our shows, our full live shows. As you've seen today, we are a live show, ladies and gentlemen. When things happen, we audible, we roll with it. And you can listen to all of those audibles and rolls with it on all those platforms. Going for a run, taking a walk, doing whatever. Can't catch our whole live show, don't want to look at our ugly mugs, check out the audio podcast. While you're there, subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. And if you especially want to, leave us a review, leave us a like or whatever. You can do 5 stars or however many. Write something nice about us. We appreciate all of it. Thank you so much. Thomas, what else do you got for me?
Speaking of podcast, our podcast has been nominated for the Independent Creators Network, the Independent Creators Podcast of the Year Award. If you go to our pinned post on our Facebook page, join the group, you'll be able to show your support for us again by voting for us in that. While you're there, go ahead and leave a comment on that pinned post so you can get your free audiobook of Light of the Jedi. The terms are you cannot have received a book from a friend through Audible before. Again, that's our Facebook page, the pinned post. But every week we are live streaming directly into your homes and phones via our Facebook page and the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube. You can find us. I'm going to simplify this, ladies and gentlemen. You can find our social medias if you go to linktree.com/LightsThunderAction, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. It'll take you to our shop, our website, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our YouTube, the HWWS YouTube, like 13 other places, in all honesty. Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction is the place to get all of your information on us. While we're here, speaking of the HWWS Web TV family, what is coming up next here on the HWWS Web TV? Well, right now it's us bringing you what's going to be some hot takes. And at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Kitchen Killers for their Wednesday show, and they're going to blow your minds. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the Maine Event with Kevin and Mia Blood. That is a show of a lot of fun, a lot of randomness. And every day we have new content for you. And the only place that you can watch every single one of these shows on your screen is the HWWS Web TV page on Facebook and the HWWS Web TV channel on YouTube. We will be right back after this brief break. Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Brian Winzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels. And now it is time for WandaVision. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the longest segment of our show today. Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I hope so.
This does feel weird doing this at the beginning. I
like it though.
I wonder if our regulars feel the same way. But here we go. We still have news.
We're doing it live. We're changing it up. We're doing it live. We're rolling with it. By the way, I'm totally 100% going back and pulling you, saying, if you want to listen to our audibles and our rolls with it, yeah, that's a soundbite. That is a soundbite waiting to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt the regularly scheduled schedule of our podcast to bring you WandaVision because...
All right.
Whoa, Nelly.
I want to start before
your
we
hand is
dive
raised. Oh.
Thank you. I want to start before we dive into like the plot and all of the notes and everything. Sat down, watched this, waited like all day to watch it. I was watching it with some friends. One of my best friends was in town. Watched it with him and his girlfriend. And we sit down. The episode starts. From the time it starts to the time the Marvel Studios logo slide, the MCU is finally back. It's been back, right? But it is back. We finally get the MCU in all of its glory, and not even all of its glory, just the MCU in the real world. Experience what gives me chills thinking about what I want to see more of, experiencing the blip and the snap and all of these huge monumental events that have happened in Infinity War and Endgame from different angles, from another point of view. It's the best thing they have going for them right now just because the MCU that they can have going for them, just because I hope they have this for every episode. I hope they have it for every single show coming out. Would make sense to deal with it, because I love the idea of seeing these sort of things from different angles and new perspectives. It's so interesting to me because it's such a crazy phenomenon of an event with the snap and the blip that I'm telling you, man, that opening sequence, pretty much all I want to say is the opening sequence and then the ending of this show too. But the opening sequence is just, I mean, it feels like, for one, it feels like a movie. That's the opening of a movie.
Yep.
It's like, you know what I thought of? It reminds me, it's like the reverse of the opening of Endgame, where in the opening of Endgame, Clint's family disappears. But in this, Monica reappears and in a hospital. We're going to get into it. But basically, all I want to say is this episode, we finally get the real world perspective. We catch up on everything. What I'm looking for, where we re-see scenes from WandaVision and a new perspective. This show was good. Like, I was here for it. I kept complaining how it should have come out all at once. I still am on that boat personally, but now that we're here, now that you get to episode 4, now I can tell people, like, hey, if the first one didn't, if like the first 10 minutes of the first episode didn't really do it for you, I just fight through. Get to episode 4, because once you get here, you're back in the MCU, and it's boom, take off, and everything. Oh, I love it so much because we're getting the payoffs already for the first 3 episodes. We're seeing some of these things. We're seeing them behind the scenes, and there's so much more to come. This show the groundwork has been laid so masterfully, in my opinion, where we get to bounce off all these ideas and theories, and everyone, my coworkers at the direct, there's so many like thoughts and ideas are being, and it's just amazing to see how much hype is being built for this show, and how in episode 4, I think everyone is really finally on board because they know this is truly the MCU being back. And I want to point out, this show, I think that it has faced more scrutiny than it would have if it was the 5th in Phase 4, as it was initially supposed to be. But it being the first couple weeks, it just being mostly this sitcom mystery. What the hell is going on? But finally, in episode 4, I think where most, maybe more casual fans or fans that aren't living online, theorizing, not thinking about it all the time, really can be like, oh my gosh, okay, now I'm all in, I'm on board. This episode rocked, and I can't wait. Now, it's funny. My final note before we get in, I want to hear your thoughts, Thomas. One thing that I thought was really funny is afterward, I'm like, oh my gosh, amazing. Best episode yet by far. Jasmine's like, I kind of miss the sitcom. Like, I want to go back into it. Like, I kind of miss the sitcom. I miss, Elizabeth Olsen. I miss, and all that. And I agree with that. I missed Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen in this episode because they're not in it. They're in it way less than normal. But the need of telling this story where this episode doesn't come in week 7. It comes, 4th episode, nearing the midway point of the season. We get that pullback. We get the curtain pullback. We get to see now both sides of this world and these realities. And I think that is a really unique way of doing it, and the right way. Because now, from here on forward, we know any episode, any given time, we could get the outside world or inside West view. There's no, it's so easy for them to now jump back and forth if they want to. And the sky's the limit with this show. This show, by the end of it, is going to be, I'm sure, one of my favorite Marvel MCU projects ever. And that is it.
Yeah. So David just wrapped up the whole episode. There's no need for me to go through like 13 pages of notes at all, honestly.
That's not true. I love the
so
notes.
We're going to cover this in a very weird fashion because we interrupt this program. Anyways, back to the plot. We're going to break down, honestly, the reveals, because that's going to take us into all the tangent towns. So as David started off, the blip reveal. I didn't realize it was the blip until she was looking around, and I was like, oh my God. Like, she's slowly coming back, and I'm like, oh, is that? I'm like, oh, that's Captain Marvel. My camera, are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened again.
whatever, man.
It's so weird. What is that?
I don't
it's
even
odd.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
If you change the camera in the
Doesn't work.
okay.
Yeah, I already tried. I had to exit the whole program and come back, which, hey, 2950, just cut this out of the audio. You're not even writing notes, David.
I took a mental note.
Oh, we're fracked, bro. Anyways, you can't even see me get animated, so what's the point with airline food? Anyways, the blip reveal. I didn't realize it was the blip at first, and it was amazing. Here are my notes that I took of the blip, things that really stood out. Brie Larson says Lieutenant Trouble, which is the effing best.
Yeah.
Honestly, this was very traumatic. Like, this is exactly what I thought it would have been when they were blipped back into existence. Like, if you're in a place and all of a sudden you just come out of nowhere, that's gonna freak out people, man. Like, that would freak me out.
In a hospital. Oh my god, it's insane. And that, I mean, I think you're about to say it, but the interaction, and she bumps into this nurse or whatever. It seemed like a kind of, I guess, nurse friend. And they have that whole back and forth about her mom. Oh my gosh, just absolutely heartbreaking.
I was gonna get to that, but before we do that, before she sees that, she literally plows through a dude.
Yeah, who had just like reformed.
Yeah, with mad strength. And all I can think is, does she already have powers? Because that was very weird how that occurred, like back to back. Like, granted, his head was still dusty when she hit him, and then he falls to the ground, and then he holds his head there. And I'm like, that there, as we say every week, bro, there was a reason for that doing that. Tiana Paris is an exact perfect match as a grown-up Monica Rambeau.
Yeah,
100%.
It's crazy. She is perfect, and she looks just like, I don't know, the girl actress. Yeah.
And her like during that blip scene, it's just pure top notch. The ranges of grief and panic. It all swings so fast and hard that it's just like, oh my god. We do find out during this that Maria Rambeau died. I believe it was 2 years prior to this re-blipping.
I think it was 3 years ago, 2 years after she disappeared.
Okay, well, dyslexia, it's math.
It's similar.
Honestly, it's very similar. Which is, like, we were all wondering if we'd get to see her again, and we don't. We literally don't get to see her again, which is an absolute bummer. But moving on from the blip reveal, which was absolutely mind-blowing, and tying into the blip reveal, the sword reveals, the Sentient Weapons Observation and Research Division. Or is it Response? It's Response. I already forgot. Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, we find out right away that Monica reports to work 3 weeks post-blip, which, as we find out later in the episode, means WandaVision takes place 3 weeks post-blip.
Right. Which means it takes place well before Spider-Man.
Yes.
Far From Home. Because in Far From Home, they had already they had to redo the year of school, and they're going through that. And then they had the study abroad program. So yeah, it's interesting to now in the MCU going forward, I feel like timelines, these stories, they weren't already in some scenarios being told linearly, but now especially not, I think, especially with all the COVID delays and everything. I think having to redo everything and reset, we're only probably going to see not every movie is going to be told, or project, I should say, movie and then everything else told in a linear way, which is very interesting. And it's going to have to keep you, I don't know, on your toes and really paying attention to when this is happening. And when, someone pops up in something, when is that in time? So.
Yeah, I'm as I've been saying for a long time, I'm prepared for nonlinear storytelling because I already think nonlinearly. We get a very beautiful kind of a wrap up of what Sword's been going through. Essentially, I'm going to sum it up because I don't have the exact quote. There's basically 1/4 of their astronauts left from Sword to run ops.
Yeah.
Because half of them blipped away and the other half have lost their nerve, he says. I question, based on the other half lost their nerve, That very much sounded like Fantastic Four to me. I'm going to set this up right here and now. And then I'm going to end it by saying, and we'll move on. Sentient weapons. Now, it's believed that Sword, prior to this moment, was sentient worlds observation and whatever. I know in the comics it is. I don't know about in MCU, but it's sentient weapons.
I'm pretty sure in the MCU what they were explaining was that they changed it from world to weapon. Because why did from comics to MCU, the decision makers behind that changed it? No. Like Sword itself just recently changed what the acronym meant in MCU like canon. Like in the MCU, it did stand for the same thing in the comics, like sentient world, blah blah.
Big question.
And then they changed it because I think they just said like because of the blip or the snap or whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't remember them saying anything about Sword ever. And I've watched a lot of MCU, so that's why I'm asking, because I know
you mean like in the MCU.
In
like
the MCU. Yeah.
I agree. And that's one of my biggest questions is where has Sword been this whole time? Because they've been around for like 20 years. And where have they been this entire time? And now they're just supposed to be the new Shield. Like we just haven't been looking at them the entire time. Now it's like, oh, now we're paying attention to the Sword. I don't know. I guess it's because like an outer space kind of thing. We haven't really been. That needs to be explained more to me, I guess. And it may not, because it seemed like it was very quick. And it's like, all right, Sword's just a thing. They're kind of the new Shield to like fans like us in a way. I don't think they really are. But where have they been? Is that I had that question going at leaving that episode. I'm like, where has Sword been though? You know?
Yeah. I'm just confused why everyone's like, it used to be this in the MCU. When the fuck did they mention that? Is my real question.
They say it in this episode.
No, they don't. When did they say that?
They do.
They say it stands for Sentient Weapons Observation and Response Division. No, but we're making them, not creating. Like what part? What number?
Terry in the comments is helping us out. No, they say they changed it. They changed the acronym. It's when the director's talking to Monica at a certain point.
But they don't mention what they changed it from.
I think they say it went from sentient world to weapon.
Whatever. I
wish I could see your face.
It's full of rage because I have no idea where everyone's pulling that from and why I missed it. And I'm very upset that I personally made a mistake. Moving on. Sentient weapons. Is Sword the bad guys? These are questions I have. Why are they making sentient weapons? Are they trying to make Wanda a sentient weapon? Haywood also gives a really similar speech to Rambo that Fury gave Rogers in Captain America Winter Soldier. I ain't got good vibes. I ain't gonna lie. There's also a bunch of hexagons going on with Senior Hayward. And I genuinely do not trust him. Mm-hmm. I never trust a guy named Tom. What can I say? Monica Rambeau was the first female Captain Marvel. It's very important to know in Marvel Comics. And then I have my notes. It says next Captain Marvel. And then I was like, Captain Trouble. And then I was like, oh yeah, duh. It's Captain Rambeau for the reason of it sounding way more badass than just Rambo. Now it's Captain Rambo. Which just is an amazing, like, I cannot wait for her to just grab a knife and stab someone. But I went Rambo on that vibe. I went full tilt on it. Westview reveals. We're gonna move on. We're gonna try. David can't see me, so he can't like see my physical cues that I'm giving him. It's unfortunate for him. I'm doing all the work now. Jersey. Westview is officially in New Jersey. Shout out.
Yeah.
I know people in New Jersey. They have the world's best coffee in New Jersey.
Really?
I saw it once in a movie, so it has to be true, right?
Yeah.
The perimeter of Westview is designed as a hexagon. It sucks you in like a vacuum. Now, we only know it's a hexagon based on Sword and their displays of IR, VR, XR, PR, Rangers, Go, whatever, they're he's got in bedroom. He's got I mean, he probably does. No, anyways, he's got hexagons on his carpet. And it's interesting to me that we have all these hexagons and also a hive mind at the same time, because there's selective amnesia for the surrounding areas of Westview and family members of people stuck in the hex. Notice I didn't say hexagon, David. Why did I call it a hex? Because Wanda has put a hex on the world. Oh my. And I love these sound effects so effing much, dude. I can't even lie. And here's why I find it very interesting and very important that there is a hexagon. Oh, that's the wrong one. Son of a bee.
The devil's in the details, Bev.
Because the
That's
devil's
not the only place he is.
in the details. So, random question right now for the audience, not for David. David, don't answer this because I'm just asking. I want some audience participation. Do you think the devil is Haywood? That's a great question to ask. It's very specific. If you don't, just tell us in the comments. If you do, we'll come back a little bit later and read some of your answers. Also, why or why not? They keep mentioning the devil in a lot of places. And it's important because, well, as Dottie says, the devil's in the details, and we are diving into every detail. We'll have a little bit more on Wanda in a minute, but it's on WandaVision, excuse me. But WandaVision, the in-universe show, does affect the real world, which was one of our biggest questions. We see it with the Sword Beekeeper, we'll call him now, or it's Agent Franklin, excuse me, Agent Franklin. He crawls into the sewers and his wire gets turned into a 1970s jump rope of pain.
Yeah.
I hate those things. First off, I just hate those jump ropes. They hit you in the back of the neck and then you have like lines for 4 days because we're pale. But it when it's pulled back out, it changes like it's changing on like the TV is glitching.
Yeah, dude, that was one of those interesting parts to me, that you can almost like pull something out of that world, and then, and then it still exists in the whatever era they're in right then. It really interesting. It's like, I don't know how to put it. It's like the matter, or like it's almost like a cover of all this stuff changes from the outside world and then inside Westview.
I love the way you worded that. That was very sexy, because that ties in to what I'm about to drop in a minute. But here's why that specific thing that we just spoke about, of it transmutating the matter and molecular structure of something. Because those children are about to be very real.
Yep.
I also recommend everyone going back and rewatching the first 3 episodes, because it changes the effing game, dude.
Oh, yeah, probably bet.
It changes the game. I have a lot of sound bites from episode 2, and I will point out a little bit later in the fan theory section. Now, here's an important note. Dr. Darcy Lewis has a PhD in astrophysics. Yes, sir, Dr. Darcy Lewis. And here's what I love the most. She is the one who found the MacGuffin. She's the one who recognized the CMBR waves coming on, and that there was another layer over top of it. CMBR, I hear no one asking. Cosmic microwave background radiation. It's been around since, the Big Bang. What else has been around since the Big Bang? Oh, yes, just the Infinity Stones.
We need that just all the time. Not even
baby, it's my hotkey. It's my F hotkey. So every time I want to say frack, or the other one, I'm just gonna beautiful. So we'll get into the CMBR equation of it all, but because it's, an ancient radiation from the Big Bang that the Infinity Stones also came from, I'm theorizing, we're not in the fan theory segment here, but I'll throw the graphic up for safekeeping here. I'm theorizing that CMBR is actually the radiation that affects the minds. I think that is the energy of the Mind Stone, the CMBR. And that is getting super specific, way more specific than I've really thought into it But WandaVision, as we find out at the end, this is a spoiler alert because we haven't gotten to this yet. WandaVision is made by Wanda. And just from a mental health standpoint, it's the projection of Wanda's life as she wants everyone to see it. It is her mask of how she's dealing with trauma by controlling the narrative. So she's put a hex on everyone. She's doing this. She's using her power, right? Again, I still believe that in the first episode, she hadn't exactly recognized her control. So I do think there's something else pulling the strings here. In all honesty, because rewatching that first episode, the difference between how she's acting in that episode versus like after the babies are born is a huge night and day difference. It's like she is now cognitively and she's 100%. I'm not letting anyone take this from me. So in the first episode, there's a little bit of amnesia. It's just confusing because she's shocked that the guy's choking, that Mr. Hart is choking. But then, she's just like, what's going on? Why is he choking? And then it's like, are you sure you're all right? And they're like, yeah, we're fine because it's the 50s. Now, CMBR. Let's get into it, man. Cosmic microwave background radiation. Here's the only real question that I have, because if this is indeed the energy, the magic, the manipulation, the ability that Wanda has, and let's say that it's the energy of the Mind Stone, and it unlocked powers for Wanda and Pietro, I'm going to play a clip really fast. We're not in the fan theory segment, but for me to finish my thought, I have to play something from our 4th ever episode from 39. It's technically 40 weeks ago this week because we did skip a week. Here it is. And see, that's why I think these are just as important, because it's building them up to be what they are supposed to be.
Especially Cap.
So,
especially Sam.
Especially Cap. Especially Wanda.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. She is the strongest Avenger. She is the person who I think is going to create mutants. I'm putting my foot down. Date this. Mark it. 443 on 4/25/2020. That's a lot of fours. I think that she's going, instead of no more mutants, let there be mutants.
Wow.
Imperious Rex.
I like that take. That's a spicy web right there.
Right? I think,
listening back to that.
And that was, I saw it, popping up online, and I was just like, I feel like I had that idea already.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go back and check it. And the best part about it is I yelled Imperious Rex after that. And I can't lie. This is a question that I'm now going to ask everyone in the comments and David. If this happens and we do get mutants, who is the first mutant you want to see? I actually I want Quicksilver. I ain't gonna lie. I want Evan Peters as Quicksilver and be like, oh my God, you're my sister, all grown up. Anyways, but what I would love and what we need, what the world needs, is the first mutant, Namor.
I was going to go with Magneto just because I really like Magneto, but that's not even. That's just personal preference, and I think he would make a really cool character in the MCU. Him, and I want Professor X and Magneto in the MCU in some way. Almost more than I want, say, like Storm or Wolverine. I think like Magneto and Professor X could make a really, really cool addition to the MCU. And I think that's a really good place to leap off of when it comes to building out an X-Men universe in the MCU. With those two characters. And obviously with new actors and all that, but in a whole new story. But I think that would be a really cool way to start off.
Yes, I agree. Now, before that audio clip, everyone is posting in the comments. We'll get to that in just a second. I do want to finish this thought on the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Mm-hmm.
The question that I really had to pose after saying that, because let's be real. If certain people have the ability to gain powers from the Mind Stone and others do not, then that means they have to have some kind of mutation, right? So we've seen in the trailer, she explodes the Mind Stone, and then it changes people. Well, I vividly remember the Fantastic Four being given powers because of cosmic radiation. David, is this how we get not just the mutants, but Fantastic Four? And we destroy the entire multiverse all at the same time?
Do you think they could be leading us down a path where they can kind of retcon in that Wanda and Pietro were the first, or maybe not the first, but their family or whatever is like the first mutants in the MCU or like in this universe? If they're the ones that got experimented on and they actually took to the stone, it's because they are mutants.
Yeah,
at the time they couldn't say it, but now they could if they wanted to.
Here's what I really wanted you to say. The first family of mutants.
Family. And let's think about it now. We're speculating those people during those commercials are mom and dad.
Yeah.
Maybe
that is what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they really are. So I genuinely think, based on two things that we've heard in just this show.
Maybe that guy is Magneto.
What was that?
Maybe the guy in the commercial is Magneto.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That has been my thought the whole time. In all honesty, he's like, he could watch him come out and be Magneto.
That would be insane.
Yeah. On that question of who the mutant would be that everyone wants to see, Mark Bernardin was like, I'd like to see Emma Frost, and Emma Frost done right. And then he's like, maybe we've already seen her. Maybe she's Dottie. And I was like, oh shit. She looks exactly like Emma Frost did in that time period of the 60s and 70s, with the hair swooped down. I like to call it the bell hair because it looks like a bell-shaped curve of hair. And she was the first one that really popped up on against Wanda. She's like, I don't believe you. And then the entire time that they're doing the magic show, she is staring with cold intent. So that is the sword reveals. Oh, just kidding. That was the cosmic microwave background radiation reveals. I genuinely think that CMBR will create the Fantastic Four. I'll dive into a little bit more in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to scroll back and look at some of these comments.
You want to what back? Scroll back?
Scroll back? I do want to scroll back a little bit and see what I can find in the comments here. Oh, Mama Irizari's in the house. She says Sword's been in Eastview all this time.
Yeah, that's them hiding out. That's where they've been. Changing their acronym for no freaking reason.
Yeah, okay.
Someone, Terry or anyone, why? I remember there's the line that Thomas missed somehow where the director, he's like, oh, we changed the acronym. I forget why they changed it. What was the why? Can anyone in the comments answer that for me? If so, leave it below. Thank you so much.
The only real why that I remember was from her asking, she's like, she says, I have it written down. It says research and response, observation and response, not creation. And he goes, world's changed since the last time you were here. And that's why I pulled the parallels of Nick Fury, because, he has almost
like being a soldier.
Exactly. World's changed since you've been gone. Some for the better, some for the worse. And it's a play between his speech that he gives Cap in Winter Soldier, and it's the speech he gives Cap in Avengers. Right before he's like, you got a mission for me? But he's all like, the world's changed, some for the better, some for the worst. We didn't get it all right. That's in Avengers. And then he's like, space is space is full of threats. And she says, always was full of threats and allies. And it's like, oh, snap, she talking about my birthday buddy, Brie Larson, a.k.a. Carol Danvers.
So the reason I said Winter Soldier is because that feels like a direct parallel to that scene in Winter Soldier when they're walking and there's the helicarriers.
Yes.
And they're both walking along. And it's very similar where Fury's telling Rogers, like, oh, we need these. Basically, like, you know, the fight's here. We need these weapons for, you know, like we're having we got to hold the bigger gun, essentially. We got to bring the bigger stick to the fight. It's cool. I like the early on already parallels between Sword and Shield. And I wonder, you know, this is, you know how I always think, like, bigger. I wonder where Sword is going to go and build off after this show. What's the next time we see or hear from Sword? Because this is
Falcon Winter Soldier.
You think so? I don't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because
they'll at least get a mention, dude, because it's a government agency show. That's why.
I don't know though, because this show, because if you think about it, this show was supposed to be well after Falcon Winter Soldier was initially supposed to come out. And clearly, by the way this show in episode 4 specifically introduced Sword, this is supposed to be our introduction to Sword. And okay, I'll give you this. Maybe there will be a mention of Sword, which initially could have been oh, hey, you know,
this is coming up
down the pike. But now it's reverse where, hey, we already know about that, which is fun. And I imagine Feige was doing this for 8 months trying to figure out how it's all going to work. But I would imagine Secret Invasion is going to have a lot to do with it, as well as Captain Marvel. But I wonder where else it is in this world, because the point of it being sentient, right, is that it is on Earth now. And that seems like it should be more of I don't know, just a bigger deal. Maybe Fantastic Four has a lot to do with it, based off of your theory, whatever, of it, you know, what is it? CMBR creating the Fantastic Four, which I like. I've seen that theory as well, and I think that's a really good one. Thomas, you can continue with the plot now. Ghost Thomas, who I'll never see again.
Yeah, I'm super upset about this because it's making it hard to have a good conversation back and forth because you can't see my dumb face and all the reactions. But in the comments, Brian Winslow says that Terry McIver, but he's more of a Fantastic Four villain, is what he was saying about Terry. Terry thinks Evan Peters will be Nicholas Scratch. Brian thinks Evan will be Mephisto. Mama Irizarry asked, why did Wanda see Vision dead? That is a great question. I will answer that in our next reveal segment.
Yeah.
Which will be coming up eventually.
That was an insane scene.
Brian said, I don't think it's the stones. We're moving on from the stones. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Oh, probably Terry. I probably should have read faster. Where are we? All right. So Brian says CMBR created the Fantastic Four in the comments. In the comics, he mentioned that in the comments. Mama Irizarry wants Wolverine to show up. Okay. That is very fair. Brian Winslow. Well, spoiler alert, David. This is also my thought. You wanted to bring it up later, but we'll bring it up basically now. There was a mention. Lizzie Olsen said there's like a Luke Skywalker moment of someone showing up. Brian thinks it's going to be Magneto. I think it's also probably going to be Magneto. I really hope it's Michael Fassbender, because he's amazing. I would not be at all upset though if we got Ian McClellan for a couple scenes.
That's crazy. You think it's Magneto? Interesting.
It's just she's got daddy issues.
We're gonna save it for later, but
Terry noticed that a noticeable difference between mutants, enhanced, and Inhumans within the MCU.
When was Inhumans a thing? I forget.
Okay, it was a show. The Inhumans was a show. It was trash. But the Inhumans were done properly on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in season 3. And then they're saying Agents of S.W.O.R.D. series on Disney Plus is being called, is being prophesized by Brian Winslow. Back to the plot of WandaVision. We interrupted the program for some comments. Welcome back, Dead Vision. Why is Vision dead? Well, he died in Infinity War, and
Welcome back, Dead Vision. That's literally this episode or this show. Where'd Thomas go? Thomas is gone. I want to talk about Dead Vision for 1 second, and I might have to repeat some of this when Thomas gets back. Okay, here's for the comments. Here's for me. Here's my thoughts. So I'm sitting there watching. We're seeing Vision in the background. It's clearly, he's blurred out for a reason. And I couldn't tell. Hey, you're actually back.
Yeah, I accidentally closed the whole window.
Oh, but it worked out because now I can see you. And that helps me greatly. So what I was kind of laying out. So, Vision's or Wanda's in the forefront, Vision's in the background. And I immediately I'm like, he looks a little different. Like there's something going on with his like color palette.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, cut. And it's Dead Vision with the like divot in his forehead and his like eyes and like roll in the back of his head, which I think is super freaky. And okay, my thoughts. I don't know, but I would love the idea that she's puppeting around a dead Vision, and that's who she's like interacting with this whole time. Because, okay, what do you think?
Well, I want to hear your because first, because
I was just gonna say because I think just her imagining him, and why do they show that scene instead of getting a jump scare? Right? Like, what is the purpose of showing a dead Vision? Instead of just reminding us that he is dead and that he's not actually gone away, or that he's not actually alive in Westview. Like Vision in reality, in the outside world of Westview, is dead. And yeah, exactly. Like Terry's saying in the comments, not blipped away, dead. So that's the whole thing. I love the idea that he's being puppeted around in his dead corpse body, and Wanda and everyone. But as we know, take something out of the real world, put it in Westview, it looks a lot different, it acts different, all these certain things. Bees appear around the sword guy.
Okay.
I like the idea that is what's happening. I'm not sure that's actually what is happening, but I love the idea of that.
I'll die on that molehill for you.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think she is puppeting him.
Okay.
Because, and here's the real reason I think that. She, could always take over the Mind Stone from him.
Yeah.
She always had that ability. She had the ability to replicate his power. She had the ability to, honestly, in my opinion, just based off of understanding energetic relationships, she probably had the power to make Vision even more overpowered, to give him a strength boost, if you will.
Oh, I see. Like she could power him up. That would make sense because what she's made out of, the Mind Stone, is what ran him.
Exactly. And because of how many times she scanned his mind and they've had their little connection, she knows exactly what he would do. And it's all memory based. And this is why I mentioned that. And here's why I do instantly believe that she's puppeting him around. Because he immediately quotes Infinity War lines to her. Some of the last lines he ever spoke to Wanda, ever, on screen. So that's why I do think she is puppeting him around. And Mama Arizari, is it a glimpse of reality for? Yeah, I think it is. It is her. It's her losing the grip because she's like, oh my God, like I just did this whole thing. And then she's like, oh my God, that's right, we're dead.
Yeah, it's her losing grip of the facade for one moment. And that's what all this is, in my opinion. Like, it's her making this facade of Westview. She sucked these people in because that's another big part of this episode. Hey, with Agent Woo and we haven't mentioned Agent Jimmy Woo. Now for FBI, was for S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, it was for FBI.
Oh, maybe it's in the comments or in the comics he's S.H.I.E.L.D.? Never mind.
Yes. He was S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comics.
Yeah. Anywho. And it's like missing persons list, and all these people, except for Agnes, had a real world counterpart that's in Westview. Obviously, Vision's not going to have one, but and here's another part that I want to mention with the dead body of Vision before we kind of just wrap up here. I love the idea. There's been some, trailers and teasers so far of like that we've seen of Vision kind of getting smart to what's happening, and it kind of being like, wait, like what's outside of Westview, and maybe like trying to break open the gate or like go to the hexagon and break out.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of like him trying to like shoot his way out, and then when he gets to the other side, just falling dead.
I
it just being
love that.
body. Like it's just like because right when he gets out, he's dead again, and that's it. And his dead body is just like same as Monica in this episode. Boom, sword comes, they find him. That'd be crazy. I love the idea of that. And do you have this in the notes? I forget. I just really wanted to point out the retelling of the scene with Wanda and Monica.
Oh, at the end? Hold on. We're not there yet. But continue, because it'll lead into my next note.
I was just going to say, I thought this is what I wanted in the show. I've been saying this for the last 3 weeks. The retelling of scenes in Westview during the show of WandaVision from a real world perspective, and seeing it really be Wanda. Not it's when Monica triggers her and says Ultron, you can tell her whole she's not Wanda from WandaVision. She's now Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch from the real world. And retelling the scene and seeing what actually happens of her her use her powers and just send her through 4 walls, which I saw someone point out, which is really clever. She like as if she was set through the 4th wall.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is really cool. And first off, awesome seeing Wanda use her powers. Can't wait for more of that. I love Wanda's powers.
At the height we've ever seen her use those powers, but
Do you think? Why
if you look at the energy of her hands and compare them to other places, vastly different look.
Interesting.
Specifically, like it shows somebody put together like a series of pictures of her using her powers, and in that one, she's got big orbs basically outside of her hands, where normally it's a lot smaller. The only time she's had anything similar to that was when she took on Thanos. And it still wasn't as large on her hands, but it was so large around him. But yeah, that's an interesting point to note. I think she's just continuously getting strong.
Yeah. I just love this scene. Though I mean, this episode's great entirely, but the beginning with opening with Monica and the blip and everything, and then ending with this is just such a way to start and finish this episode. Yeah. It makes you want to just keep watching. I want to know what happens so bad. Thomas, you can now continue with the plot.
So it's all Wanda, it is all Wanda, 100%. And that is what she's saying. That's what happens as the show's ending. She's like, it's all Wanda. It's all Wanda. It's all Wanda. It's all Wanda. And it's like, huh. Okay. So now we know. And then we get another epic thing. But before we get to that, I do want to I want to go back to that vision thing, because I'd have a beautiful audio clip ready for that. Just listen to this from episode 2.
I am Glamour, and this is my delightful assistant Illusion.
I am Glamour, and he's Illusion.
Yeah, what she said.
She is Glamour. He is Illusion. He's literally an illusion to everyone. It is just layered on top of it. And I can't believe I didn't catch that the first time, because that's something I'm like, illusion, he's obviously still dead, so of course he's the illusion.
Right.
Should have had a V8, man. So
no, that's really good.
And that is that tying in there, what's going to be going on. As I've said, it's all. But I do wonder for Wanda if it's not also trying to bring Vision back to life with her powers. Which, let's think about it, creating a life with powers, and obviously something else going on there because of that culty situation of those guys. That they are the kids are made. Okay, it is what it is. But bringing back life to an android without like his central processing unit, if you will, the Mind Stone, really difficult. Takes a lot of power. I think that's her. That will eventually become her end game.
You know what I think?
I'm
completely
ready.
Reversing that.
Ooh.
Just taking off what you just said. Maybe that's what she was doing. She was trying to reanimate Vision and was like, shit, I can only do this if I make my own little pocket reality. And then he can come to life, but it's not actually real. And then Westview became, but it started with her trying to just reanimate Vision, and this is the only way she could. Just another idea.
And then she said, I would do anything to have another day with Vision. And that's when Satine shows up. Or Satan, whatever you want to call him. Mephisto, whatever. Anyways, I got so hype at the end of this episode because, every episode so far has ended with some kind of, I'm going to call it a quote unquote musical number. It's just a song playing. The first one is like, episode 2 ends with something similar in some form or fashion. It's very important to note that episode 3 and episode 4 end with the same damn sequence of events.
3 and 4. Yep.
3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And who it focuses on at the end is important to the song. So I was questioning this last week. The Daydream Believer. Is Wanda the Daydream Believer? Or is Monica Rambeau? Those key lines that we spoke of last week was like breaking out of the daydream. And that was focused on Monica. And that's why they cut. Because then when we come back to that, she's just saying it's all Wanda. It's all Wanda. And we cut back into WandaVision. And that's when we get that, that sequence there a little bit. And then, of course, Jimi Hendrix with Voodoo Child plays. And oh, yeah, I understand what they're doing with music now.
I will say the moment when Monica pops up and she's like, it's all Wanda, it's all Wanda. Like, to me, it's confirmation like Wanda's in control. I mean, maybe not entirely. There's still room to wiggle here, but for our and anyone's speculation about what's going on, like Wanda to some degree, if not fully, is in control of Westview and what's happening here. And Sword, we kind of got confirmation too of what we've discussed a lot. They're there, what seems like to observe, and maybe counteract, but it's
respond.
Respond. It's pending. They're just trying to figure out what's happening. Like they're just doing it right now. But I think they're ready. They're ready on the mark when something explodes. The bubble bursts, as I think people are saying now. I know we wrote a story on the Direct about that, which I loved. But like the Westview bubble bursting. We'll see, man. We'll see. But I love how Wanda. I love how it's all Wanda. I think that's great.
I absolutely love it. Okay, so before I go into the fan story, I need a little bit of context here. So I'm gonna play a couple of audio clips. All of them are from episode 2. There was only one that I really liked, and it was from any other episode, in all honesty. But as I've already played, the devil's in the details. And so that's why we're breaking this down in the fashion we are. We already showed the glamour illusion situation, but listen to this. He says this not too far after.
Today, we will lie to you. And yet you will believe our little deceptions. Because human beings are easily fooled due to their limited understanding of the inner workings of the universe.
And here we are. Right?
Deep into the magic show, and I like it.
It came with so many lines. There's so many things that they just
illusion, right? I mean, that's it.
It is, and it's a double entendre. They're literally being like, "This is what we're doing. Here's this illusion, and Wanda's in control." Like that is all they were doing the entire effing episode, man. And she just kept making mistakes with Dottie and stuff. It's like, okay, it's weird. And so, they lying to our faces. They've been lying to our faces the entire first 3 episodes. And, I've played For the Children, but here's another reference to the mystery character of Ralph.
Sure you don't want an audience volunteer named My Husband Ralph?
No, abracadabra.
I had to play the whole sequence because I love his response, and I have it, queued up.
No.
So get ready for that, family. So all right, man. It's just time, David. We got to change our background. It's time for the fan Thory conspiracy mode. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right underneath me is the question we've all been asking, and that is, where the hell is Dottie? Why is she not on this board?
Mhm.
Also, really, why is she not on this board? It's
Yeah,
confusing that they've not found her in any way, but they have found some other folks. Who is Agnes is obviously a thing. Norm is Abidash. He's a name. I'm so sorry. Character that doesn't exist in our real world for ruining your name. It's important to really look at this because, everybody's related at least to a real person except Agnes. We don't see Dottie even on the board, which is very questioning. It says that the guy of Norm, it says on his sheet that vision awoken him. He had awakened him, and he instantly started asking about his brother, or excuse me, his father and his sister. He was worried about his father and his sister. I find that just that one nugget of information to be very important to the future because we've seen Vision awaken Agnes. And the first thing she says is, "Am I dead? Why would you ask such a thing as that?" Because you are. All right. Right? So I think that, I also think that she's awakened the entire time because in episode 3, both she and Herb are talking back and forth, right? And Herb is... And good old Sherby is because we all are and he's like, well, what?
My guess is we're all trapped, is what they were going to say now. I think that's the
hard to escape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually completely agree that that's what he was going to say. I was also wondering whether or not he's some entirely other character that's going to be important. But they didn't name him. Yeah, Herb. But because he's on this board behind us with real person ID, I'm gonna gander over that as not. Do you enjoy the devil symbol I made? I drew that.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
pretty proud of it. And the X over where the Mind Stone is. There's little nuggets in here for everybody. There's a strawberry and Heart's throat. Also hilarious that I just thought of this now. He choked on a chocolate-covered strawberry, and his name is Mr. Hart. How romantic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hard part of this show because I didn't get my notes tabulated in digitized format. Basically, here's my theory. I'm sorry, here's my theory. Oh my God, my battery's dying. Oh, that's interesting. I've never had that happen before. My battery is dying in my microphone, in my mouse. I got there. House of M is where we are at. And as I said earlier, there will be more mutants. I genuinely believe that she is going to, when she realizes the genetic makeup of how she got her powers, and even if it's in the smallest thing, we see her commute. I think she's going to commune with the Mind Stone right there.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as she touches it, it shatters. And as we know, you can escape that reality. I think that energy is sent out and it makes more mutants, but I think she does it on purpose. Whether that happens in that moment or she says make more mutants, whatever it is, I think these mutants are to cover her tracks with the CMBR, that cosmic radiation, because if they know that that's her energy and now all these other people have that energy, it's going to tie into Cerebro, but that's how you can track down mutants. And that now that there are more mutants in the world, they can't find where she specifically is.
Right.
I think that's why we get more mutants, not for any other reason than Wanda to run and hide further on. And I think that's how we're going to end up setting up, something going on. Speaking of cosmic radiation, I think that the Fantastic Four are former sword agents that left due to disagreements over the methods. I think they get their powers from Wanda and the more mutant situation. And there was a specific mention that I was going to pull from the book of Wakanda, the Wakanda Files, explaining that. But it's basically there's some form of genetic mutation that she and Pietro had that allowed them to gain powers while everyone else died. I do question though, because I know I just said I think she's going to do it to cover her tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I do question, because it's the other end of this spectrum of possibility. Does she unintentionally explode the Mind Stone, and then that unintentionally creates mutants across the world, and she sends out that energy on an accident? Because, when she said no more mutants, she really didn't understand what was going to happen, right? So in this case, it could be the same thing. It could be both, honestly. There's just too many questions, and that's why we have the conspiracy board behind us. Because I'm going crazy here, man. Like, I'm smoking a lot of bubble gum, honestly. Like, really. I don't smoke. I genuinely chew bubble gum until my jaw can't chew anymore. I think we get the Fantastic Four. I think we will get mutants at the end of this. I don't think they'll say we're getting Fantastic Four
in this.
I think this is how the Fantastic Four are created.
You think, and they explain it in this show?
No.
Okay.
I think this is how the Fantastic Four is created, is what I'm saying.
I like that idea. Yeah.
If they explained it in this show, I would have been opposed. However, I don't think that's going to happen either. So now, ladies and gentlemen, now we're at the part where the fan theory went sideways, and now I'm just confused. Because, again, I had not enough time to get everything done. In episode 1, Wanda is living her biggest fantasy, and it starts right away. A newlywed couple just moved to town to do some stuff. Yeah, 50s intro.
Mm-hmm.
Vision, in that intro, runs through the door, right? He phases through the door, and we're like, ah, ha, 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 because he leaves Wanda behind. But look at it like this now. Vision leaves behind Wanda when he floats through the door like a ghost, because he's dead. Wanda didn't consciously seem to be hurting Mr. Hart, as I said, or was she just being a great actor? Oh, that's not a really good note. That's what happens when you do stuff before bed. But knowing what we know also explains why Vision was staring at her like, come on, let me go save him. And she's like, and then she looks at him, she's like, Vision, save him. Like, confused, like, why hasn't he already done it? Again, I question whether or not she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Here's a note right here. Here's that note that I was talking about. Wanda is animating Vision like a dead puppet mimics the stone. I knew there was a note about that somewhere. In episode 2, for, when they get everyone ready for the children, they call, Dottie stands up and says, welcome to the sole fundraiser of the Westview Elementary School. Sole fundraiser. At the end of this episode, that doesn't work. Oh, that's unfortunate. At the end of this episode, which they claim it is, what happens? She becomes pregnant. And then within essentially, 16 or 17 hours, she has those babies. And they are... Did they do a soul, S-O-U-L, fundraiser? Or was it the soul, S-O-L-E? I'm beginning to think that they straight up did a fundraiser and conjured these babies with soul and black magic and all that good stuff. I don't know if we'll find out more on that, but my gut says, yeah, we're gonna find out more about that coming up. Because again, Agnes is a part of that little coven circle, and Dottie's the lead witch. And yeah, I'm just tearing down the fourth wall because I'm 100%. I'm sorry, everyone, for watching the video. I cannot sit still right now. I'm like wired from like, honestly, this board makes me just really feel like Charlie Day right now. Because I know I have so much more in fan theories, but I just don't have time to get into it. But David, and we're here now. I'm going to ask this to everyone in the audience as well. This surprise cameo that they say will rival Mark Hamill's appearance.
Right. Well,
written at the direct by, oh my God, David Thompson. What? I know that guy. I'm wearing that guy. I want to know, everyone in the comments, David, I'll pick up my brain. I mean, I already said I think it's Magneto, but we'll see. Who do you think this is?
Yeah. So basically, TV Line, they had the interview with Elizabeth Olsen. They asked her directly. They asked her basically straight up, like, if we can expect any like surprise cameo akin to what we saw at the end of Mandalorian with Luke Skywalker. The shock, the shock, and then on top of that, that was kept so under wraps. No, Mark Hamill was in it at all, and she said yes, point blank.
Yeah,
my assumption and what I wrote at the end of that last third of that article was that I assume it's Doctor Strange. That wouldn't be the most jaw-dropping thing, I think, like Luke Skywalker was, but it would make the most sense. We know it's connected to Doctor Strange directly. She's filming Doctor Strange right now. We have had no inclination or news or report that Benedict Cumberbatch filmed anything for WandaVision. So it checks that off, where there was no, word or rumor that he's even in the show at all. And I think it really all just makes sense. It makes sense it would happen in a similar way. Last half of the final episode, Doctor Strange shows up. We know initially this show is supposed to lead directly into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Heck, the idea initially could have been the final episode for WandaVision comes out, and then next week Doctor Strange was going to come out. We don't know how it was supposed to initially go. But now it's like over a year apart. But that still means they're going to directly tie into each other with Spider-Man 3 in between the two of those films. In my opinion, it isn't really I think it just makes the most sense. And that's why it's my choice is Doctor Strange showing up at the end, doing this thing, maybe having to fight Wanda. Who knows? We don't know how this is going to all end, but I think it could. I mean, I say it in the article, I believe I write that because of how big the MCU is and all the different, areas, people, the options are really endless for this. Like, I just wrote Doctor Strange because I think that has the highest likelihood of really happening.
Yeah.
But Magneto, I mean, that's a really crazy one because we haven't seen that character in the MCU, but it could be as simple as, I think, Terry, Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, that could be one. There could be a whole Tom Holland. Cross my fingers. Doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah. But who knows?
You went right to it.
Yeah, like it could really be anyone in the MCU. Hell, it could be Captain Marvel. Maybe this connects to Captain Marvel. This is where she gets Monica Rambeau because we know she's going to be in Captain Marvel too. So anyway, this could go a lot of different ways. I'm seeing Terry saying Samuel Jackson, in the chat as Nick Fury, director of Sword. Interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting considering that Haywood is acting director. But if he's the bad guy, who knows? Anyways. I'm scrolling through this list because I wanted to look up some things. Like I looked up, has Ian McKellen worked with Paul Bettany? Yes. Has Benedict Cumberbatch also worked with Paul Bettany? Yes. They both have been in, those three people have been in certain films together with each other. That's not how you're supposed to phrase that sentence, but whatever. Yeah. And it's been like Bettany made it clear that the reveal was something that actor that he worked with hasn't been leaked at all. We're getting another confirmation that this hasn't leaked. So it can't be Evan Peters, right? Benedict Cumberbatch has like been rumored and kind of leaked. So it can't be him.
Really. it's like it's just been kind of assumed that he would make sense to show up, but there was never any like the Evan Peters thing was a real rumor that came out that he was on set or he was casted, or cast.
Thank you.
When I type it now, I get it right, but still speaking. Yeah, I don't know. Go on though. I continue that thought.
So they have a list here of who it could be. This is from inverse.com. They're saying Ian McKellen. Their biggest con is that they've worked together. Kelsey Grammer. He would come in as Beast. Elliot Page as Kitty Pryde. That would be a big one.
So basically a mutant.
Well, they got that. Then they have Evan Peters, and they point out that Evan Peters was leaked. Patrick Stewart. Right. They're literally just guessing here. My favorite one on this list, I'll be honest, Dick Van Dyke, and the picture they used for Mr. Dick Van Dyke. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for this because it's a visual that everyone needs to see for the live edition of this show. Tell me he doesn't look like either A, the devil, or B, an old Magneto. Right? That's who I want this to be. I want this special character, the special actor, to be Dick Van Dyke and him be like, I don't think that'll happen though. I can't even lie to you. I think it's going to be someone we know. As a character, we already know.
Mm-hmm. Well, because that's the thing.
Holy shirt.
What?
Hugh Jackman was on that list. And in House of M, which, David, I'm going to need you before next week to read that entire book so that you can be the House of M expert. Because I have questions that from stuff that I've read online that I'm pretty sure is accurate. But if you read it, I can ask you instead of everybody else on the internet. Hugh Jackman. Wolverine was the one in WandaVision, in the House of M, from what I've understood, that would awaken other heroes. He was the first one to like pierce the veil, if you will. Right? Seems like Vision's kind of doing that now. But if you need someone to break through something and to tear a hole in maybe reality, I would think that adamantium claws would be able to cut through the barrier and potentially destroy the entire barrier, right? Maybe we do get Wolverine.
That'd be crazy. I mean,
right?
Any X-Men, any established X-Men from Fox would be insane because it's like, where is that leading then? like where are we leading to here exactly?
I agree with that. Well,
yeah.
If it is
happening though, that's I think that's why. I think they're very patient with X-Men generally. I think they're gonna plant some seeds over the next couple of years, but I don't. Maybe I could be completely wrong. I just think they're gonna really be patient with the X-Men property they now have, and they're gonna wait. I mean, they announced Fantastic Four. We imagine an X-Men movie is gonna come somewhere down the pike. I just don't. I mean, obviously we're opening up the multiverse. Anything's possible, right? I just don't see it yet, especially in this first. I mean, this is the first Phase 4, project for the MCU. It seems like they're going to be really patient with mutants and X-Men. I just don't know. I mean, I guess it would make more sense if it was a cameo from a previous character, but really moving forward with the X-Men, I don't know. I don't really see an established X-Men like just straight up Wolverine showing up in this show. That would have
to be Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto makes more sense. If you're going to give me one to choose,
Michael Fassbender Magneto makes the most sense.
And that would be crazy because obviously no one would have seen that coming. And it's an established character. That's part of it too with that quote and that whole question is, Luke Skywalker what does that mean exactly? Established character, previous movies, boom, shows up, not expecting it at all. It hits all those on the head.
It does. It hits all those, and yet I still feel like it's too on the nose at the same time.
And it doesn't. It doesn't rub me there. It doesn't seem like that's their plan to bring it. I don't think their plan is to bring in these old X-Men characters. I just don't. I don't see it.
Listen, if they bring in old X-Men characters and they only do 2, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender is 100% who they should bring.
Well, what's weird is that I say this, but then also there's the Evan Peters big rumor and leak that it's like if he's in this show, And if he is Quicksilver, then that just takes away everything I just said, and they are going that direction in some form or fashion. We know Deadpool is going to be in the MCU, but that's Deadpool, and he's not a mutant, and he's easy to like.
Holy shit! What if it's Deadpool?
Now
he fits the tone.
Crazy.
He fits the tone, and then I don't think I've said this at all on our show, but I remember telling you, what if he shows up, he goes to drop an F-bomb, and Wanda's like, no, and it like rewinds, and he's like, what in the no, and keeps censoring him, right? And then we find out that he is censored, like he says things, but it's censored for PG-13. Yeah. And he's talking to the camera. He's breaking the fourth wall. I'm calling it! I'm calling it! It's Ryan Reynolds! Right here, market dated February 3rd, 2021 at 5:40 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm calling it. It's Deadpool in WandaVision. That's the hottest take we got. My sound effects aren't working. Oh man, it's just like Ryan Reynolds. That's where we should end that segment. Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a quick break, get our composure. JBauerArt has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow JBauerArt on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at JBauerArtShop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests. And every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? JBauerArt has you covered. For all of this and more, follow JBauerArt on social media. That's JBauerArt. Check out JBauerArt.com for a full portfolio and JBauerArtShop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones. The Vampire Verses. Blood Right Sketchbook and Art Book. A 32-page saddle-stitched comic that includes art and sketches from the Vampire Verses series by Frank Forte. The art ranges from 1995 to present day with character studies, cover studies, renders, creature design, environment design, pinups, and more. The book hopes to reintroduce fans to the series and be a prelude to the continuation of the Vampire Verses number 5 and 12. This book has been fully funded. If you fund it now, the further it gets along, more rewards and tiers will be open for you. The Listener is a series revolving around Addy for short. He's a Native American soldier, loosely based on Leslie Tebow, a Native American vet who fought and dealt with horrifying circumstance. Addy inherits the abilities of the Listener when his father dies, allowing him to see the dead, as well as other supernatural beings. We pepper supernatural horror into the narrative of our story, a modern take on old stories, myths, religion, and campfire tales. One of our biggest strengths is what sets us apart. The fact that our stories are buried in long-forgotten truths. We're not writing superhero stories. We're depicting tales for a new generation. The Listener. Kickstarter starts February 15th, 2021. Zombies the Movie is looking for assistance with donations or shares. It's a classic sci-fi feature cheese fest written and directed by Alicia Marie, starring local talent from the Emerald Coast about, you guessed it, zombie bees. A small town coroner has to team up with her ex-fiance to save her town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely mustachioed Hawaiian hero. Want to keep up with the buzz? Give the official Facebook page a like/follow and join the Honey Brick Road as we progress toward production and all the way until the official premiere. And we are back. David, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Everyone's favorite segment of the week. What the news?
This feels so weird. I'm used to leading the show with this. I'm not sure I like it. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got the news for today. We talked about WandaVision. Now we've got the news. We're going to do it probably a little quicker than normal just because of time and everything else. But it's been a weird day. So will we is right. First story came out just today. News from today. Don Cheadle officially says that he will appear in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier as, however you want to say it, Rhodey, War Machine, Iron Patriot. Here's the quote from Cheadle. It's really fun and interesting. It's really fun and interesting and by all imagination, completely open-ended. This can go anywhere. It's great. I can't wait to get in the room with the writers and figure out how all those things happen. Rhodey shows up. He's like, Rhodey shows up in Winter Soldier and Falcon show. So it can be a lot. The other part of the interview, he talked about, oh my gosh, Armor Wars. Isn't that it? Yeah.
It is.
Talking about that show and all these other things. So, but he just happened to throw in there that he does appear in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Thomas, what do you think of this? And what do you think his role could be?
Hype. Hype. Honestly, dude, that is awesome because let's think about this, right? Don Cheadle, Rhodey is about to essentially become the only Iron Man character for a little while. Yeah. I mean, he's already kind of been it, like depending on how long this is. And not only is he, right. I mean, he was in the military. He was looked at. He signed the Accords. He's always been at the top of everyone's like, we love Iron Patriot. We love War Machine Rocks 36 with an X. But when it comes to Falcon, Sam Wilson, he hasn't been given that love, right? So I think they'll need some help. And who are they going to call? They're going to call someone they actually trust. And of course they trust Rhodey. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Literally, why would you not trust Rhodey? I mean, ever. Everybody's the same way. Even Thunderbolt Ross trust Rhodey, right? Yeah. So it can only mean that he's going to come in. He's going to give them at least some advice. I genuinely think he's going to give advice to Sam, and he's probably going to be the guy who pushes him over the edge. And I think it'll be along the lines of something like, look, man, if he wanted to give the shield to anybody else, he would have. But he gave it to you. There has to be a reason for it.
Yeah.
Why don't you find out what it is?
Yeah, for sure. My quick thoughts, I think it makes sense for him to appear in this show of any show. Yes. It just feels right that he would be here. He has a relationship with both characters. We especially see it in Civil War in their disagreement on the Accords with Sam and Bucky. I think he could play a really interesting role, and maybe it sets up Armor Wars in a way that we didn't know before, because obviously it wasn't announced that he was going to be in the show from anyone. So under wraps, I think for a reason. I think he could be a really interesting addition. And what I think is you bring in Iron Patriot, you bring in War Machine, it's because you need a little War Machine in your life.
A little firepower.
Yeah, and I wonder what that means. So I'm very excited about this. I love the character. Don Cheadle as War Machine. Rhodey, I think it's going to be great. And I'm excited for that show too. Yeah.
I'm trying not to go into a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Because it's late. But I was thinking about Armor Wars. And I was thinking about how, it's going after Tony Stark's tech, right? Well, we've already seen that in Far From Home and a lot of other things, but really Far From Home, right?
Iron Man 2, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Man 2, but I mean like post-blip.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I was thinking about this while we were talking WandaVision. maybe that character that shows up is Mysterio. Because let's look at Wanda, what she's doing versus what Mysterio did. There's not a lot of difference. One does it via technology, and the other does it versus it with old school radiation from the Big Bang. Maybe Mysterio is the person who shows up. However, perhaps everything is gonna. And this is such a vague fan theory. Perhaps it's gonna all tie in a way we don't understand. Both, it's gonna be going on cosmically, and it's gonna be going on earthbound, terrestrially. And then before we realize it, it's actually going to sync up and be like, oh, everything's been building to this, similar to how everything worked with Endgame. I think they are just planting the seeds. You know, Earth is about, here it is. Here's the full, I'm just going to say it. Earth is about to be the powder keg of the entire cosmic universe. It is going to be the place where every alien comes in because they know damn good and well that the Avengers are there. And if they can kill the Avengers, the same beings who beat Thanos, who took the Infinity Stone, snapped everyone back into existence. If they take Earth, they own the universe. That's how it is in Marvel 616, the comics. That's how it's been for decades. I think that's where we're building to. And Galactus.
I love it.
Moving on. Did we say that at the same time?
Yeah.
Nice.
That wouldn't have happened if your camera wasn't on. To DC and the Snyder Cut, which we forgot to throw into the show notes and the news, throwing in, it comes out March 18th. We didn't have that for the last episode, but yeah, it comes out, I think.
The day before Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, that's gonna be.
Which is going to be fun. I saw this in a tweet. It's like, oh yeah, great timing. It's going to steal their thunder immediately after. Like Falcon.
Oh, yes, it is.
Officially, the Snyder Cut is rated R.
Say us what?
Yeah, so reading from a colleague of mine, Richard Nevins, on the Direct. In an official release from Film Ratings, the Snyder Cut of Justice League has officially received an R rating from the MPAA and its HBO Max release. This includes a description that reads, rated R for violence and some language. And we kind of already knew that Batman dropped. Remember there was something that came out where we knew Affleck just cursed or whatever.
I don't know how I feel.
Do you have any thoughts on the Snyder Cut? The long sought after, made petitions about Snyder Cut, 4 hours long, apparently being rated R.
I've lost my hype. I ain't even gonna lie.
I know. So have I. And mad.
I want it to be here. I want to watch the 4 hours. I want to know if I like it.
I don't know if I want to watch 4 hours. I'm worried it's not going to be good. 4 hours.
Listen, I was campaigning hard. I was campaigning so hard for the one, the week to week, because I'm like, I can digest it slowly.
You know
now
what?
I've got to power through because the next day I'm watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's no stop.
And you know what? I read, wasn't a part of our news today, but I read something where the reason it's going to be, one of the reasons, I guess, it's going to be 4 hour movies because of the contracts with the actors. Something about their compensation. It needs to be a film. Anyway.
Hell yeah. Okay, in that case, fuck yeah. Pay them, mother effers. Pay them, AT&T. Just like you didn't pay everyone else.
Well, there you go. More exciting news, which I think is a lot more thunderous and exciting, is Thor Love and Thunder. We got our first look at some set photos.
Wait, do I have... Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh.
Perfect.
Look at those guns.
Chris Pratt, everyone. First off...
Screw Chris Pratt. We're here for Thor. Look at how good I look, man. Damn.
And, for any Thor fans out there that were worried about Fat Thor being a thing again, maybe at the beginning, but clearly not throughout, because look at that outfit. There's been a lot of training videos Chris Hemsworth has shared where he is definitely not Fat Thor. He's in amazing shape.
He's the biggest as Thor he's ever been.
I agree. It's crazy. He's huge.
And he's not even close to being done.
Obviously, had Stormbreaker. Yeah.
Yeah. He's about to get bigger, dude. He's bulking up to be Hulk Hogan in a Netflix movie. So he's like, yeah, my goal is to have 26-inch biceps just so I can say that I was bigger than Hulk Hogan to be Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, that I would do the same thing.
But anyway, I loved these set photos because sometimes, some set photos reveal too much. These were perfect. Gotta look at the Guardians. And I think these prove that the Guardians won't just be a cameo. I think they will have I think they'll be a part of the plot of this film, like a legitimate, even if it's, they'll serve a purpose, basically is what I'm saying. Because, if you think about it, at the end of Endgame, he's still Fat Thor and they go off. If the time goes by where he's gone from Fat Thor back to normal Thor and the Guardians are still there, first off, I love 16th off. I love that outfit of Chris Pratt. We're showing it right now on the screen. I think it looks great. We also had a shot of
Kraglin.
Kraglin, thank you. Rocking like the Yondu, headpiece and the little, what do you call the whistle thing? The whistle weapon. What would you call that?
Oh, the arrow.
Arrow. There you go. The whistle weapon. That's
the whistle weapon. It's the arrow, bro.
Yeah. We get a shot of, we see Nebula, we see Kraglin. I think these, if this is one of my most anticipated pieces of content coming out in Phase 4. I think I ranked it as like my 3rd or 4th. I cannot wait for Thor, and this just makes me more excited, honestly.
Here's what I'm excited about. Why did it just kick me off? I hate this. Just, you know what?
Oh dear, I've been feeling weirdy all day.
Just StreamYard, ladies and gentlemen. Just.
Oh dear, I've been feeling weirdy all day.
It is what it is. Here's what excites me the most about this photo. These set photos, excuse me. First off, I now can do a casual Thor in a leather vest.
Yeah.
I can't effing wait, dude. I gotta get my shit back together and get yoked again. But sleeveless leather vest, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm here for it. Yes. In these set photos, there's one that gets just a glimpse of his boot. And it looks like it's the comic accurate black with yellow bandage wrapped up the legs, like the tiger look boots.
Right.
That was his original look in the comics, and they looks like they're gonna be tying it all in. He's wearing the blue jeans, which he wore blue pants, right? He's got those boots, so it's waist down. He's classic Thor, and on the top, he's just 80s rocker Thor. Instead of having a long flowing cape, he's got a sleeveless black and red leather vest with long, flowing, beautiful hair. And I, for one, am so damn excited that I get to have more Thor costumes to waste money. All right.
Moving on, another MCU property and tease of a picture is Tom Holland went to his Instagram and posted a photo. It was of him, you assume, in the Spider-Man outfit on set shooting Spider-Man 3 and his brother on his shoulders. And there had already been some set photos that leaked of his brother, in some straps and some hooks, like that he's in the movie somehow. It's very interesting. It's like, what is his brother going to plan? It's his younger brother. What's his name? Harry, I think. Maybe it's not Harry. I think it might be Harry Holland. Anyway,
he's got like 85 brothers. So
one of his brothers on his shoulders. And here's the caption. It says, "Today was easily one of the highlights of my career. For those of you that were there, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you that weren't, you better buckle up." Now, that's a very exciting caption. I would say a little less exciting when you consider the context of it's like, maybe it's just because him and his brother got to act on screen together in Spider-Man in some way. I would imagine if his brother does have any role in it, it would be very small, but maybe we shouldn't look at it that way. Maybe this is kind of like, just be distracted by the picture, and the caption is really where the meat of it is, because anytime Tom Holland's going to say buckle up when he's referring to Spider-Man, I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
Wait, dude, say that whole sentence again. Do it all again.
Do it again.
Because I'm Wanda.
I'm not doing it again.
What? But I have such a good background for it. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I can't wait for this film. Apparently, sometime this month, I read something somewhere. I could be talking complete crap right now. I thought I read somewhere that Tom Holland is going to go on some sort of show and talk more about the film sometime soon. I hope that's true. I can't wait for this. Give us a title. Just a title at this point. I think we deserve a title. I think every other movie right now coming out, MCU, Sony, they all have their official titles. This is the only project that doesn't. Maybe this is what?
Not the only one.
Okay, maybe not the only, but the only one coming out in 2021. How about that?
Okay, fair.
Yeah. This year. What was I about to say? Oh, shit.
Give us the title.
Yeah. Maybe it is an event. Just me speculating. Maybe it's an Avengers Endgame situation. We can't release that title until you see something else coming out. Just a guess.
Like maybe the end of WandaVision.
Maybe it spoils something. I don't know. I'm really excited for this movie. Thomas, do you have any thoughts on this photo and the caption?
Everything you said, I agree. We should look at the caption, not Harry or whatever his name is. It's not about the brother. It's a mundane photo with an amazing caption that is meant to tease something. Ironically, let's just be real. It could be very much the same thing as the picture of Grogu being held by George Lucas, which was taken at the very moment that they were filming Ahsoka. And the story of the photo is better than the photo.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of photo, look at this.
Now, who's that? Is that Joaquin Phoenix? No. So, apparently, which I find just very, very surprising, this is a photo that, Zack Snyder himself posted. This is Jared Leto in the Snyder Cut. Doesn't look anything like him, from what we saw in Suicide Squad, which makes me excited. I think it could be a different kind of take on the character, but still Jared Leto. And still that like mob boss kind of like character arc they're going with. And this was from the Twitter post that Zack Snyder posted. Here's his caption. Amazing character you created. Honored to have our worlds collide at David Ayer and then at Jared Leto. So officially Jared Leto. Thomas, we just talked about the Spider-Verse. We talked about the Snyder Cut a little bit. What did you think of this? Because this is obviously a brand new look at what's going to be the Jared Leto version of Joker in the Snyder Cut. What were your thoughts?
I didn't have a lot of thoughts, but here are the ones that I'm trying to figure out. Is he wearing a mask right now? Is that why it's out of focus the way it is? Does he have long hair? Is that a shadow? Is he bald? Is he wearing someone else's face? Why does it look so weird? When will they release a real picture? Those are my thoughts.
We'll probably never get a real picture, but apparently they're going to come out with a trailer. They're going to come out with a trailer sometime soon, and I bet we might get a glance at Leto then. I think this next trailer is going to be where we're going to see some of that new footage, perhaps right before the Snyder Cut actually releases in March, which is next month.
Another trailer? That is just
No.
All right. And finally, this is our final fun little news of the week. NCAA football, for those of you that don't know, got discontinued after NCAA football, which is an EA Sports game. It was NCAA football 14. It is finally coming back. So we don't know yet. This is the only bit of news. Like EA just posted this. College football is coming back. There's no inclination of when or if it'll be in time for an EA Sports college football 2022 or like 22. That would be awesome. I really enjoyed this game. I'm definitely more of a Madden guy, but I'm also more of an NFL guy over the college football. But I've missed this game in my life. It's been forever. I think at this point, just nostalgia. Like I've read people have still been keeping up with NCAA 14 and just updating the rosters and, like updating it to like today's date. And it's one of my things I wanted to say is I'm sad for how many athletes went through college and never got to be in, NCAA because or get the opportunity to be on the cover. And there's been so many great college athletes that are now in the NFL and all these different great teams. And I really hope, I said this earlier to some of my friends, I really hope that they give us the option to play as like some retro teams. Retro meaning teams from the last, say, 8 years, rather than missing out. For instance, like the 2019 LSU team would be really fun of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All NFL players are going to be NFL players. Obviously, Burrow being the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm really excited for this game. I'll probably get it, and it's going to be really popular just because it's the first time coming back. And I'm excited finally, it is finally officially here. It's coming. We don't know when or what, but it's coming. Thomas, do you have any thoughts on this, or what's your history with NCAA?
Every July, I would beg my parents to buy me NCAA, and they're like, why? You're only going to play it for a month until you get Madden. And I was like, yeah, I only have a month to get my entire character ready for Madden. Duh. Pay attention to the fucking calendar, guys. I'm excited. I probably won't buy it because, like you, I'm more of an NFL guy. I know that one of my best friends, who was one of the top 25 ranked players on NCAA for, like a couple of years. He was like literally in the top 25 of the entire Xbox Globosphere, Twitter, whatever it was back in the day. He's stoked, and he's like, well, I guess now I have to get a new console. And I was like, yeah, I guess so, bro.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know, man. As long as I have the option to like choose any uniform that I want for the Seminoles, I think I'll be okay. But if I'm stuck with some crappy ones, I'll probably just skip it.
True. I hope they go all out. I hope they don't give us like a bare bones first game and then like kind of catch up for the next one. I hope they're like, this is, it's a full decked out next gen, like, because it's been so many years. Normally these sports games, like year after year after year, and the changes are small because it's an annual thing. Now it being 8 years, it's going to be such a big leap, and they can really start from scratch. They can do whatever they want. They can make it very much like Madden, or they could do something unique. It's very exciting. I'm not even a huge college football fan, but I'm really excited for this game coming back, and just the fandom of it too. People have been wanting this for years and years. It's a very popular game. Obviously, college football is very popular in the United States of America, and I am excited for it.
Yeah, EA,
Give it to me. Give it to me now.
honestly, that's what we should have ended that with. EA Sports, bravo. Don't stop sucking, man. No. Ladies and gentlemen, that actually, did we get through all the news? We got through all the news. There's some questions in the comments I see. Who's doing this to me, Thomas? Obviously, I'm doing it to myself, Terry. It's obvious that I'm Wanda. I've said that 5 times. Is Thomas going camouflage? Yes. I am incognitus. But really, thank you all so much for joining us. There's probably a lot more in the comments, but this show has run over 2 hours already, and you guys have things to do. The Kitchen Killers are live right now on the HWWS WebTV channel on Facebook and YouTube, and on the Kitchen Killers Facebook page of, Kitchen Killers with a Z. David, where can everyone find you on social media?
You guys can find me at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram, at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, and go follow Twitter. It's at David Thompson with 2 A's in the David. I made it that way years and years ago. I wish it was something different, but it's kind of unique. Go follow me there. It's where I'm most active, where I like to tweet the most. Got in a long conversation that Terry hopped in about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with some people the other day, and it was pretty interesting. Thomas, where can everyone find you?
Gaslighting son of a bitch. You can find me at linktree.com/TCROCHESTERACT. That is TC Rochester Act. You'll be able to find my link, the links to my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, maybe my TikTok. I think I put it on there, all that. As well as my website, IMDb, the shop, etc., etc. David, do you have anything to promote this week, Sue?
Yeah, guys. Just wrote 3 stories in the direct yesterday. We talked about one of them earlier. Go follow us on the direct. Go read my articles. Read everyone's articles. We're covering everything: MCU, Star Wars, DCU, PlayStation, and Xbox. Go check us out, thedirect.com. Thank you. Thomas, what about you?
You have heard most of my promotions. The zombies, we're looking for donations or shares, excuse me. We're raising funds. If you go to the Zombies Facebook page, which is, facebook.com/zombies the movie, ZOMBEEZ the movie, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. You'll be able to find some links to the YouTube and see a little bit of our table read, some of the fun that we had. Go to the GoFundMe page, which is gofundme.com/f/zombies-feature-film. To share and or donate. We really appreciate that. And of course, you're about to see it right here and now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up soon, our shop where you can't even see the shirt I'm wearing now. Thanks, StreamYard.
You know what, dear? I've been feeling weirdy all day.
Yeah, well, stop feeling weirdy all day and bring me back so I can wear David's face on my face like I'm the Joker. Well, that got weird. You can buy merchandise. I had my cup ready over here, my mug that I got of David's face and my face, created by the one and only social media master, Terry McIver. But alas, why should I talk about it when I can just show you the promo in like 30 seconds? David, what's next week, bro?
WandaVision. We keep rolling along. We'll be over the half-week mark officially next week. Episode 5, WandaVision. Seems like we'll be going back in that WandaVision hexagon or whatever you want to call it. Can't wait. Talking that and whatever news we have to discuss.
Hell yeah. Likely on a Wednesday again, just because of my work schedule. It's butthole.
And
nice.
We'll have a Super Bowl to talk about briefly at the opening.
I have to work during that, dude. I'm so upset.
No.
Yeah, I know. I don't. What time does it start? What time they kick off?
6:30ish.
Eastern or Central?
Eastern.
I don't get off till 8 Eastern, so I'm going to miss the first half of the game. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 43 of Lights, Thunder, Action.
Hello, I'm Thor, son of Dale, here to tell you about the Life of Thor Productions official shop. The only place where you can get your official merchandise for the Lights, Thunder, Action podcast and Life of Thor's Thor Watches series. Whether you want t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, mugs, and masks, Life of Thor Productions' official shop has you covered. If you happen to recognize there's an item that you would like to buy that is not in the official shop, head over to the Light Thunder Action podcast or Life of Thor and request that item, because if you want it, we'll sell it. Just head to lotproductions.threadless.com/collections to get the item that calls out to you via the Force. Again, that is lotproductions.threadless.com/collections. Thank you, and have a Thor-tastic day.